Welcome to Authentic with Brazil 201. I'm your host, Brazil 201, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about the latest Colleen Hoover movie to hit theaters, Regretting You. And I just want to say, I love this movie. Is this a top 10 movie of the year? No, but I thought this was a very good movie. It's very original. It's kind of life as we know it. Full spoilers, by the way. And I just want to say, Colleen Hoover makes movies for a certain type of depressed white girl that I am very attracted to. And also, her movies can make me feel things. Now, look, I have never read any of her books, okay? I did not read It Ends With Us. I did not read It Starts With Us, which is the sequel, which I guess we're never going to get because Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni hate each other. And I also am very confused if the Justin Baldoni character is even in the sequel because I'm pretty sure based off that movie, that man should be in jail. I saw when I saw this in theaters, there was a trailer for reminders of him and Verity, which are her two, I guess, other books that are coming to theaters next year. But one has like Anne Hathaway. Listen, I just gotta say, her movies have like the hottest fucking people in them, and they're just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm all in, by the way. Okay, I'm all in. I enjoy it. I thought it was great. So, look, the movie starts off with all of our 40-year-old actors, though I think the one white girl is 32. She's the one from Preacher. I believe her name is Willa Fitzgerald. Yeah, right. So she's like the young, but everyone in this of the adults, right? They're like 40, I think. Or no, actually, hold on. I'm looking at the ages right now. 37, 30. Oh, Scott Eastwood is 39. Willa's my age. She's 33. And Franco's 40. Okay, so fine. My bad. But in the movie, it starts off with a flashback of all these 33 and up actors when they are right before prom night of their senior year in high school. And they're all my age in the movie, right? They're all 33, 34. So this is 2010 at least, 2010 or 2011, their senior year in high school. And that's their first. I just want to say, listen, as someone who loved Riverdale, and in the final season of Riverdale, the actors themselves were all 30, 31, playing 16. I'm just saying they can't pass as 18 anymore. But we're in their like this party, and and it takes place in North Carolina. And what happens is the couples are together, right? Allison Williams is with Scott Eastwood, and Franco is pining over Willa Fitzgerald's character, Joanne. And they're like, oh, let's see who can be able to buy beer at the convenience store. And this is also like the height of the Four Loco era. So I don't know why they were trying to get beer. They would be trying to get Four Locos. Just because this was 2010, 2011, this is the Four Loco era. But they go into the 7-Eleven, and Allison Williams' character, Morgan, steals a pregnancy test from the 7-Eleven, and she uses the bathroom, uses it, and we find out she's pregnant. Well, she finds out she's pregnant, right? They go back to the beach, and she's just like nervous and whatever. And Dave Franco's character is shooting the shit, trying to like shoot his shot, but he's like pining over Will Fitzgerald's character Jenny, and she spits out the words "I'm pregnant," and then boom, time jump, 17 years later, which is great. And I just want to say, in this weird part of the prequel, it doesn't really seem like who everybody's with. They have chemistry. Like Allison Williams's character has like zero chemistry with Scott Eastwood. In the same way, Franco's character has zero chemistry with Will Fitzgerald's character, Jenny. And then but they all have chemistry with each other. Weird aspect. I mean, obviously, this is the whole fucking plot of the movie. So we flash forward 17 years. It's present day. It's 2025. Okay, and it's Allison Williams' birthday. And the movie, like, it's like her birthday, and we then meet her daughter, right? Because it's 17 years later, Clara, and it's another white girl. She has great eyebrows, and she's driving North Carolina, this long fucking road where there's cows and farms and whatever. And we see the white boy love interest, Miller, and he's just moving a sign that says outskirts of Derry because apparently the pizza delivery won't go anywhere outside the town, which here's the aspect with this, because I'm assuming this comes from the book. A, no place has their own delivery drivers anymore. They all have DoorDash or Uber or whatever, so the distance part doesn't really matter. And also, moving it with a sign does nothing since they base it off Google Maps and it would tell them if it's out of the area, if it's one of those places. That's just my like little pet peeve with this, but apparently he's been moving the sign every day to help his dad because not his dad, his grandfather who has like lung cancer and he's old and he just really likes the pizza and he's like trying to hitchhike to find a way home and Clara picks him up. They have this flirty banter. He's shooting a shot. And I gotta say, the chemistry with them is real because apparently in real life they're fucking. At least based off the fucking TikToks and vibe, it really seems like they're definitely fucking or they fucked once. Okay. That's all I gotta say because you can tell, like, they definitely are really into each other. So he follows her on Instagram, but he has a girlfriend. And I guess, this is the drama now for your kid because everyone follows everybody now. And then there's this whole scene because it's her birthday and everyone's coming over. And Willa Fitzgerald gets called by Clara that she's like, oh, she spent all day with a boy, but he has a boyfriend. And Clara's like, shh, ooh, he has a boyfriend. Yeah, and she's like, she has a girlfriend, and he's like, yeah, like Clara, you don't want to be the other woman, right? And like Willa's very good at fucking lying. By the way, Willa Fitzgerald's character and Allison Williams' character, they're sisters. Okay, so they're eating the birthday dinner and everything. Allison Williams says the baby looks like Clara when she was a baby. Oh shit, breadcrumbs. And then it's the next day. They all have to go to school and work. And Scott Eastwood's like telling Clara, "You're blocking me in. I gotta go to work." And Willa Fitzgerald's character is like, "I also have to go to work." And all because all these cars are in the driveway, and everyone leaves. Okay. And then Clara's at school, and Dave Franco is her teacher, and he hands a thing to Miller, say, "Here, you should use this if you want to get into film school," and blah blah blah. And Allison Williams is taking care of the baby because it's the first day, supposed to be the first day back at work for Willa Fitzgerald's character. She gets a phone call, says there's a car accident. Oh shit! Allison Williams, it goes to the hospital and says, "Oh I got a call from the hospital saying my husband was in a car crash," and then Dave Franco enters. He's like, "I just got a call saying my wife," because they didn't know each other's person was in the hospital, and they're just so confused. And then we get the thing like they're pronounced dead, and they cry, and then they're having this conversation. Don't you want to know why they were together? And all this that they were in the same car and shit. And we get the funeral scene, and Allison Williams is very angry at the sister because obviously it's very implied that there was an affair going on, and yes, there clearly was. But so she, instead of doing two funerals, she wants to do one separate ones for each of them. And Clara's just upset and she leaves. Miller follows. They drive. They smoke weed. And Allison Williams' character looks at the fucking her iPhone location and sees her just in a parking lot and tracks her and follows her. And can I just say, Clara, who in real life is 18, looks 28, and Allison Williams, who is 37, also looks 28. They look more like sisters than siblings. That's all I gotta say. Because, like, they're all, like, the adults are also supposed to be 33, 34 in this movie. Anyway, um, Jonah, which is the name of Franco's character, is talking to Allison Williams and is like, "Do you even know where his car is?" Because apparently they were in Willa Fitzgerald's car when it crashed. And but I forgot this that Clara was having a conversation with Willa Fitzgerald, saying, and she's like, "You don't trust me. You don't want to be the other woman. It weighs on you, destroys you." And then she just stops responding, which is implied at that time. That's when the car crash happens. They find because they have an air tag in Scott Eastwood's car that it's in this hotel. They drive to the hotel. They see the car is there. They Franco goes to the hotel, goes inside the hotel and explains the entire situation that the entire situation. So they open the hotel room for him, and he gets all the stuff that was in the hotel, and it seems like they were going to be there for a while. Apparently, they were going to be there for the week, and according to the charges, they've been doing this they'd been like once a month they were fucking in this hotel, which is crazy for 17 years, right? Then what happens the next day is Jonah drops off the baby because he can tell that's Chris's fucking smile. He's like, this is not my fucking kid. And that's true. He should have done the DNA test. It's not his fucking kid. By the way, doesn't matter. And this is just my own theory about this because it's the real life because you don't want to be pay for this. I know it's fucked up to ask, but look at this situation, right? You gotta ask, you got a DNA test, okay? Just because she says it's yours doesn't mean it is yours, okay? Can't trust no woman. Look at this. Allison Williams couldn't even trust her fucking sister, okay? Her sister was fucking her husband for 17 years, people. You know how fucking messy that is? Fucking crazy. So, now, what happens is, and I'm just gonna say like them bitches ain't loyal. But look, he's right. The movie, he's not responsible for the kid. It's not his son, right? If he does a DNA test and everything, he legally doesn't have to take care of the kid. He knows that the dad was married to this, so technically Allison Williams would have to take care of it because it is next to the kid and all of that. But anyway, now Allison's got two kids, and this, by the way, this movie is peak sad white girl liberalism, and it's great. And I'm just sorry, but like Claire, all the shit with Clara, I'm like they look so much like sisters, not mother daughter, and it's wild since there's like a 25-year age difference. And I gotta say, I hate the texting in the movie conversation thing because we do this like 4 times in this movie, and I understand that's how people communicate now and everything, but we have to find a better way to film this because I don't know if I prefer where we're looking at the screen or the text are popping up while we're seeing the hot person's face. But okay, Miller and Clara go on a date at the AMC that he works at, and they're making out and shit. And she says, "I'm a virgin." He goes, "I know a cure for that." Good line, by the way. And then they say, "I'm gonna wait till prom night to have sex." Very cliche in 1990s. And then there's like a whole montage of like Allison Williams doing Bob the Builder stuff to rebuild the house because she hates that the house is everything he wanted and stuff. And he realized all the other shit is from Clara, who's like was like, you don't know him as well as I do. Like, by the way, the fucking hints that they were fucking for 17 years is all around there. And by the way, I gotta say, Allison Williams is hotter than Willa Fitzgerald. But like, you know what? I get it. But Allison Williams really is a bad bitch. Great soundtrack, but I just got to Colleen Hoover really just makes these movies for a certain type of white girl. But anyway, Claire and Miller are dating in real life in the movie. And I gotta say, they're both equally hot for each other. This isn't like the Ariana Grande situation who's banging that ugly troll guy. Um, and then we get, oh, Jonah and Franco and Allison Williams begin making out. And what's it called? Clara comes in the house and she's like, "Oh my god, ah!" Right? And it's like the day before her birthday, and she's just like, because she's like thinking, "Oh, like were they cheating on each other the entire time?" And then she texts Miller to come over, like coming through the window, and like I gotta say, he says "I love you" right before he sticks his like dick inside her to make her moan. And yo, I just gotta say, Colin Hoover shoots like the wildest sex scenes ever. And also, I feel weird about this because like I don't think teenagers have sex like that. Also, I'm 33 and I feel like weird watching this in part. I understand they're 18 in real life and in the movie, but like in Riverdale, at their youngest, right? Because I'm the same age as all the Riverdale actors. And it's like season one, they were all 24, 25, playing 16. But this is like they're 18 and 18, and it's just weird to watch. And then Miller's right, like, I don't want to fuck you because you're crying, and like that's a whole Me Too thing. And then there's this awkward birthday dinner that's like for fight where they're all fighting and it's so chaotic and funny. And then this is the part I kind of didn't really fuck with, and I'm kind of glad they kind of like she's drinking a bottle of wine at her father and aunt's grave, and I was like, oh, are they really gonna have her drive drunk at 18 home? Thankfully, like Allison Williams' character picks her up, and she's like, bye, car, and then they like pick up the car the next day or whatever. And apparently Clara's been having this guilt inside because she thought she killed Leon because she said I thought she was driving the car and she was texting and driving, and she's like, no, 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 your dad was driving the car, her car. And that's like, oh, they were having an affair. And then she's like, is the baby my half brother? And it is. And then Franco and Allison Williams have sex, and that scene seems really hot. And I gotta say, the final scene is really beautiful. Their house is dope. They have this backyard scene where Miller shows the student film he made of the play that Clara did, and the grandfather who has cancer, because Miller's like, I want to wait a year, defer to go to college to help my bills out with my grandfather, and the grandfather's like, dog, I have air, you don't have to wait to go to college. And he's like, what do you mean you have air? I have air rights in New York. Okay, my air rights are worth $4 million. I'm also over 65 on Medicare. You don't have to worry about the bills. I have air rights. We can go to college. You guys can go to college together. I'm looking, and the film he shoots is actually pretty dope. Okay? And that is this movie. That is another Colleen Hoover masterpiece at work. I liked it. I think the McKenna Grace chick, she's gonna be a legitimate star. She's great eyebrows and everything. Allison Williams should do more fucking movies, but I just like she does make a movie for a certain type of white girl that I love. I love a depressed, sad white girl that just pumpkin spices her own personality. And to the future reporters of CNN or whatever outlet are listening to this, if I am running for Senate, and they're like, he says he only likes depressed, sad white women. Yeah, guess what? Everyone in America's a little depressed. And I like a pumpkin spice white girl. I won't fucking apologize. I also like white girls who have thick eyebrows like Lily Collins or Ella Purnell. Okay. Also, to the future reporter listening to all my podcast episodes. Okay. Yeah, okay. But anyway, go see this movie. I liked it. I think this is fun. I think it's generally a good movie and we need more movies like this. I also like everyone in this movie. Very hot. Okay, like 911 Nashville level of hot. Fucking crazy.